Do you lie awake at night, chasing sleep that never comes, feeling like the stars are mocking your restless heart? You're not alone. Over 60% of seniors battle insomnia, says the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. It's not just age. It's 5 common sleep mistakes you might be making without a clue. If you're weary of groggy mornings and fading energy, stay with us. Meet Helen, a 70-year-old widow who thought sleepless nights were her fate until a friend's wisdom lit the way to restful dreams. Welcome to Elders Echo, where sleepless nights find their end. Today, we're unraveling 5 sleep mistakes that haunt seniors after 60 and sharing Helen's radiant journey, a 70-year-old who turned restless shadows into peaceful slumber. No need to fix it all at once. Just pick one step to start, like Helen did. By the end, you'll hold simple keys to unlock deeper rest. Let's dive into the first mistake that dimmed Helen's nights, and perhaps yours too. Let's dive into the first sleep mistake that's dimming your nights after 60. Believing sleep myths. You've probably heard them. Seniors only need 5 hours of sleep, or it's normal to toss and turn as you age. These whispers sound like truth, don't they? They creep into your mind, convincing you that restless nights are just part of growing older. But here's the stark reality. These myths are chaining you to sleeplessness, stealing the rest your body craves. Meet Helen, our 70-year-old widow who danced with insomnia for years. When we first met her, Helen was exhausted, her eyes heavy from nights spent staring at the moon. She'd shrug and say, "I'm old. I don't need much sleep anymore." She'd heard it from friends, read it in passing, and believed it. Why wouldn't she? Everyone said seniors sleep less, so she accepted her fractured nights as destiny. Her days dragged, her spark faded, and she wondered if this was just life now. Does that echo your own nights? Here's the truth these myths hide. Your body still needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep, just like it always did. Age doesn't shrink that need. It only makes quality sleep harder to grasp. Believing you need less rest tricks you into ignoring poor sleep habits, leaving you vulnerable to fatigue, weaker immunity, and even memory slips. The National Institute on Aging warns that untreated sleep issues in seniors raise the risk of falls and depression. Myths aren't harmless. They're thieves in disguise. A 2021 study in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that seniors who believe they need less sleep are 30% more likely to suffer chronic insomnia. That's a third of your nights lost to a lie. Helen's awakening came during a coffee chat with her friend Clara, a retired nurse with a sharp eye for health. Clara noticed Helen's weariness and asked, "Why do you think you don't need sleep?" When Helen repeated the myth, Clara shook her head, her voice firm but kind. "Helen, that's nonsense. Your body's begging for 7 hours." She urged Helen to aim for a full night's rest and track her sleep to see the truth. Helen was skeptical, thinking, 7 hours? At my age? But Clara's warmth convinced her to try. Helen started aiming for 7 to 8 hours, setting a consistent bedtime and noting how she felt. Within 2 weeks, her fog lifted. She slept deeper, woke brighter, and felt a spark she'd thought was gone. It was like her body had been whispering for rest all along, and she'd finally listened. Here's your key. Ditch the myth that seniors need less sleep. Aim for 7 to 8 hours nightly, like you did in your 50s. Set a steady bedtime, track your sleep with a notebook, and give your body what it deserves. Helen's nights prove it works. So, have you bought into the less sleep myth? What's one sleep belief you've heard? Share in the comments, and let's shatter those myths together. Now let's face the second sleep mistake that's stealing your rest after 60. Misusing sleep medications. It's tempting, isn't it? Popping a pill to hush the night's chaos, hoping for a quick escape to dreamland. But those little tablets can become a trap, luring you into a cycle of dependence that dims your days more than it lights your nights. For many seniors, sleep meds seem like a lifeline, but misuse can anchor you to restless shores. Helen, our 70-year-old widow, learned this the hard way. After years of sleepless nights, she turned to over-the-counter sleep aids, taking them nightly without a second thought. "They help me drift off," she'd tell herself, ignoring the morning fog and shaky hands. Her kitchen counter held a small army of pill bottles, and she figured it was normal for her age. But her energy waned, her joy slipped, and those pills weren't delivering the deep rest she craved. Ever reached for a sleep aid, hoping it's the answer? Here's the harsh truth. Misusing sleep medications, whether over-the-counter or prescription, can backfire. Many seniors take them too often or without a doctor's guidance, risking side effects like dizziness, confusion, or falls. These drugs often disrupt deep sleep stages, leaving you groggy instead of refreshed. For older adults, the stakes are higher. Your body processes medication slower, amplifying risks. The American Geriatric Society flags sleep meds as a major fall risk for seniors, threatening independence. A 2019 study in The Lancet found that seniors using sleep aids regularly are 25% more likely to experience daytime fatigue and cognitive issues. That's a quarter of your vitality traded for a false promise. Helen's turning point came during a garden stroll with Clara, her retired nurse friend. Clara spotted Helen's unsteady steps and asked about her sleep routine. When Helen mentioned her nightly pills, Clara's eyes widened. "Helen, those meds are fogging your days," she said, her voice a mix of concern and clarity. She urged Helen to talk to her doctor about safer options and try natural wind-down tricks instead. Helen hesitated, thinking, "No pills? How will I sleep?" But Clara's gentle nudge gave her courage. With her doctor's help, Helen tapered off the meds, replacing them with a nightly ritual, a warm chamomile tea, and 10 minutes of deep breathing. Within weeks, her sleep deepened, her mornings brightened, and she felt steadier on her feet. It was like shedding a heavy cloak she didn't know she wore. Here's your path. Don't lean on sleep meds without a doctor's plan. Consult your physician to review your meds and explore natural aids, like chamomile tea or a 4-7-8 breathing exercise. Start small, like Helen, and reclaim your rest. So, do you use sleep aids to drift off? What's your experience been? Drop it in the comments, and let's navigate this together. Let's shine a light on the third sleep mistake dimming your rest after 60, skipping natural light. It's easy to miss, isn't it? You stay cozy indoors, curtains drawn, sipping tea while the sun blazes outside. Maybe you think a quick glance at the sky through a window is enough, but dodging sunlight is like unplugging your body's clock, leaving your sleep adrift in a sea of restless nights. Natural light isn't just a mood lifter, it's your sleep's silent conductor. Helen, our 70-year-old widow, fell into this trap. After tackling sleep myths and meds, she still woke at odd hours, her body confused about when to rest. Living alone, Helen spent most days inside her small apartment, reading or knitting by lamplight. "I don't need to go out," she'd say. "The sun's too bright anyway." But her nights were jagged, her mornings heavy, and she felt like a clock with a broken spring. Ever find yourself avoiding the outdoors? Here's why skipping sunlight hurts. Natural light syncs your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that cues sleep and wake times. It boosts melatonin production at night, helping you drift off and stay asleep. For seniors, this is critical. Aging weakens your circadian signals, and without sunlight, your body struggles to know night from day. This can lead to insomnia, low energy, and even mood dips. The National Sleep Foundation notes that lack of daylight exposure increases sleep disturbances in seniors by 35%. That's over a third of your nights tossed away. Helen's revelation came during a porch chat with Clara, her retired nurse friend. Clara noticed Helen's pale cheeks and asked, "When was the last time you felt the sun?" Helen shrugged, but Clara wasn't having it. "Your body needs daylight to sleep right," she said, her eyes warm but firm. She pushed Helen to spend 15 minutes outside daily. A walk, a sit on the porch, anything. Helen grumbled, thinking, "At my age, chasing sunlight?" But Clara's care sparked her to try. Helen started morning walks, soaking in the sun's gentle rays. Within days, her body clock steadied. She fell asleep faster, woke less, and felt a lift in her spirit, like flowers blooming after rain. It was as if the sun had reset her rhythm, guiding her back to rest. Here's your fix. Get 15 to 30 minutes of natural light daily, ideally in the morning. Step outside, walk to the mailbox, or sit by an open window. No excuses. Even cloudy days work. Helen's brighter nights started with this simple step, and yours can too. So how often do you soak up sunlight? What's keeping you indoors? Share in the comments, and let's bring light to those nights. Let's uncover the fourth sleep mistake that's clouding your nights after 60. Eating heavy late-night snacks. Picture this. It's 9 p.m. You're curled up with a bowl of creamy pasta or a slice of rich cake, savoring that cozy comfort. It feels like a harmless treat, a reward for the day. But those hearty bites are waging a silent war on your sleep, churning through your stomach while you long for rest. Late-night feasts are no friend to your dreams. Helen, our 70-year-old widow, was caught in this snare. After shedding sleep myths, meds, and indoor habits, she still tossed at night, her stomach grumbling as much as her thoughts. Most evenings, Helen indulged in leftovers, a plate of lasagna or a hefty sandwich, right before bed. "It's just dinner," she'd say, brushing off the unease. But her nights were restless, her mornings sluggish, and she felt like her body was stuck in a fog. Ever raided the fridge before bed? Here's why heavy late-night snacks sabotage sleep. Digestion demands energy, keeping your body awake when it should wind down. For seniors, slower metabolism makes this worse. Heavy foods linger, causing discomfort, acid reflux, or even heartburn. These disrupt deep sleep, leaving you waking often or feeling unrested. The Sleep Research Society warns that eating within 3 hours of bedtime increases sleep fragmentation in seniors by 20%. That's a fifth of your night, fractured by a midnight snack. Helen's eyes opened one evening at Clara's house, her retired nurse friend. Over tea, Clara noticed Helen rubbing her stomach after a late, heavy dessert. "Helen, your stomach's working overtime while you're trying to sleep," Clara said, her tone kind but piercing. She explained how late meals stir up digestion, robbing rest. She suggested lighter snacks like a banana or yogurt if Helen needed something. Helen sighed, thinking, "Give up my lasagna at 70? But Clara's care lit a spark. Helen shifted her habits, eating dinner by 7 p.m., and swapping heavy snacks for a small apple or a handful of nuts if hunger struck. Within a week, her stomach settled, her sleep deepened, and her mornings felt lighter, like a weight had lifted. It was as if her body thanked her for letting it rest, not wrestle with food. Here's your fix. Stop heavy eating 3 hours before bed. Finish dinner early, and if you need a snack, choose light options fruit, yogurt, or a few crackers. Helen's restful nights started with this shift, and yours can too. So what's your go-to late-night snack? Are you eating too close to bedtime? Share in the comments, and let's lighten those nights together. Let's confront the fifth sleep mistake draining your rest after 60. Not moving enough. It's so easy to settle into stillness, isn't it? You sink into your armchair, lost in books or TV, days slipping by without a step beyond the kitchen. It feels like rest, like you're saving energy. But this quiet trap is starving your body of the motion it needs to welcome deep, restorative sleep. Inactivity is a thief, robbing your nights of peace. Helen, our 70-year-old widow, was ensnared by this habit. After fixing mitts, meds, sunlight, and late snacks, she still woke at night, her body restless despite her calm mind. Living alone, Helen's days were sedentary, reading novels, watching game shows, rarely leaving her cozy nook. "I'm too old to run around," she'd chuckle, dismissing the idea of exercise. But her sleep was shallow, her energy flat, like a song stuck on a single note. Ever feel glued to your chair? Here's why not moving enough hurts your sleep. Physical activity regulates your circadian rhythm, signaling your body when to rest. It also reduces stress hormones like cortisol, paving the way for deeper sleep. For seniors, this is vital. Aging slows circulation and muscle tone, making inactivity a fast track to insomnia, stiffness, and even anxiety. The Journal of Aging and Physical Activity reports that seniors with low activity levels face a 28% higher risk of sleep disturbances. That's nearly a third of your nights fractured by stillness. Helen's breakthrough came during a park visit with Clara, her retired nurse friend. Clara, spry from daily walks, noticed Helen's sluggish pace. "Helen, your body needs to move to sleep," she said, her voice bright with care. She invited Helen to join her for short walks, promising no marathons, just gentle steps. Helen laughed, thinking, "Exercise at 70? I'll creak like an old gate." But Clara's encouragement felt like a warm hand pulling her forward. Helen began with 15-minute strolls, then added chair stretches at home. Within weeks, her body hummed with new vitality. She slept soundly, woke refreshed, and felt a joy that danced through her days, like a melody rediscovered. Movement had unlocked her rest, proving it's never too late. Here's your step. Move your body daily, even lightly. Try a 15-minute walk, chair yoga, or simple stretches. No gym needed. Start small, like Helen, and let motion guide you to better nights. So, how active are you each day? What's one small move you could try? Share in the comments, and let's get those bodies dancing to sleep. Take a deep breath. You've just unveiled 5 sleep mistakes that cloud your nights. Recognizing them is your first victory, a spark of hope. Like Helen, who transformed her restless nights step by step with Clara's gentle nudge, you don't need to fix everything today. Each small change is a lantern lighting your path to restful sleep. Let's wrap this up with simple keys to brighter mornings, inspired by Helen's journey. Let's gather the threads of our journey. Sleepless nights after 60 aren't your fate. They're often woven from 5 common mistakes. First, believing sleep myths, like needing less rest, chains you to exhaustion. Second, misusing sleep meds fogs your days with false promises. Third, skipping natural light unmoors your body's clock. Fourth, heavy late-night snacks churn through your rest. And fifth, not moving enough stills the rhythm that lulls you to sleep. But here's the light in the dark. Each mistake has a fix, and Helen's story proves it. Our 70-year-old widow, once tethered to restless nights, found freedom through small steps. With Clara's wisdom, Helen ditched myths, tapered off pills, embraced sunlight, lightened her snacks, and moved her body. Her sleep deepened, her days bloomed like a garden revived by spring. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. These fixes, aiming for 7 to 8 hours, consulting doctors, catching morning rays, eating early, and walking a bit, are simple keys to unlock restful nights. Helen's journey shows that change is possible, even at 70. It's not about perfection. It's about one step forward taken with courage. Imagine waking refreshed, your energy a quiet gift to your days. You deserve that peace, that spark. So here's your challenge. Pick one fix, maybe a morning walk or an earlier dinner, and try it for a week. Let Helen's story be your spark. Your rest is worth fighting for. Which fix will you try first? Share it in the comments. And let's weave brighter nights together, inspired by Helen's radiant path. Your journey to restful nights starts now. Which sleep mistake surprised you most? Myths, meds, sunlight, snacks, or stillness? Drop it in the comments below. Let's spark a conversation. If Helen's radiant path from restless to rested moved you, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more sleep secrets. Share this video with someone chasing better nights. Like Helen, you're one step from brighter mornings. Take it, and let's dream together.